Hey everyone, so I've had the Xperia C5 Ultra for about a week now and I thought it was a good time to do a review on it. So since it's only been a week, there might be certain things I like about it now that I might not like about it in the future and vice versa. And in that case, I'll provide an updated review on it. And also, of course, I'm not going to be able to cover everything in this review. So if there's topics that I don't talk about that you guys want to know about, please let me know in the comments. And I'll try to either answer directly or make a video about it. So basically, what I'm going to do with this review is I'm going to talk about things I dislike about it and things I like about it. So starting with the things I dislike about it, this is a mid-range phone and it does have mid-range specs. So it has a 1.7 GHz octa-core MediaTek processor with 2 GB of RAM. Now, of course, that's significantly less than, say, the Z3 Plus, which has a Snapdragon 810 processor with 3 GB of RAM. So I'll just give you guys an example of why this is significant. So just going into the apps, and if I'm exiting the apps at the same time, you see a little bit of lag there. So not a big difference, but it does add up when you're just scrolling around in the menus and everything. And of course, if you're playing games, you're going to get worse performance on the C5 Ultra than you would with a premium phone like the Z3 Plus. So just for some other things I dislike about it, it is glitchy. I'm not quite sure why this is. I think that it should be fixable with a software patch. And considering that this phone has just been released, I think that Sony might be doing that. But I'm hoping that that does get fixed in the future. And so just rounding this out, things that I don't like about it, it's not waterproof, and of course most smartphones aren't, so it's kind of hard to count that as a disadvantage, something I don't like, but a lot of Sony phones like the Z3 Plus, the M series, they are waterproof, so I thought it was worth mentioning that. And finally, the last thing that I don't like about it is it's just not as premium feeling as the Z series. So you can see here on the back, the C5 Ultra is made out of plastic, and whereas the Z3 Plus is made out of metal and glass. So you might be thinking, well, a lot of those things are because it's a mid-range phone, and you're actually right about that. So I would say that it really doesn't have that many disadvantages considering that it is a mid-range device. Just some of the glitches I hope get worked out in the future. So now I'll talk about things that I do like about it. The main feature is a 1080p 6-inch screen display. It's a beautiful screen. I think it's the best on an Xperia phone to date. And also along with that, considering it's so huge, they've done some really nice stuff with this. So you see on the side, it's nearly bezel-less, very thin borders, and even the bottom is pretty small compared to, say, the Z3 Plus. So to account for the huge screen size, Sony's done a few nice things that make it easier to hold. So let's say you're like me and you don't have huge hands, it's hard to reach a notification bar at the top. You can slide up from the corner like this, makes the display smaller. You can even adjust the size over here. You can change it to either side. Very nice feature, and then of course you can bring it back like this. They've also, usually Sony phones are more rectangle shaped, whereas this on the back it's curved so it's easier to hold in the hand. So I'd say despite it being such a huge screen, it actually isn't that difficult to hold. So some other things I like about this, it has a 13 megapixel front facing camera. I've already done a few videos on this, I'm going to do more, but it's really a great camera and definitely the best front facing camera on an Xperia phone to date. Even a Z3 Plus, which is their most premium model, only has a 5 megapixel front facing camera. And some other things I like about it, just rounding this off, it has micro SD card support, which you can't always take for granted now. Most phones are eliminating that support. It also has a pretty good battery. It's 2930 mAh. And so I've noticed, I don't think it's quite as good as, say, the Z series, but it is still better than the majority of phones. And I hope to do just a video dedicated to that in the future. And so finally, I do like the speaker as well. It can reach 95 decibels and it's significantly louder than other Xperia phones. So overall, I'll say the C5 Ultra is a great mid-range phone. So of course some of the emphasis there is it is a mid-range phone. It does have mid-range specs. so don't go expecting to be as fast as, say, the Z3 Plus. The rear-facing camera also, it's only 13 megapixels compared to 21 on the Xperia Z3 Plus. But for a mid-range phone, it's a very, very solid. And I also like that they've added in some features that aren't even in the premium devices, like the 6-inch near bezel-less screen display and a 13 megapixel camera. So this phone really has a lot going for it. And I didn't even mention the price, which is about $370 to about $400 right now, compared to the Z3 Plus. When I got this at launch, it was about $650. So that's another big factor. A lot cheaper for this phone, and I think that it's just great for what it is. So I'd recommend it if you're interested in the screen and the front-facing camera. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If there's something I didn't cover in this video, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try to either answer your questions directly or make a video about it.